Hi, everyone, and welcome into DodgerHeads presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Matthew Moreno, and joining me today are Blake Williams and Scott Geirman. And we're here to talk starting pitching rankings for the 2024 season. It's the 14th year of MLB Network's The Shredder Series, which ranks the top players at each position, including designated hitter, kind of, going into every season. Normally, the Dodgers are represented in the Shredder rankings, especially when it comes to starting pitching. But guys, I've got some bad news. That's not the case for 2024. Instead, the Shredder top 10 starts with Garrett Cole, and it includes, in order, Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, Justin Verlander, Blake Snell, Zach Wheeler, Spencer Strider, Logan Webb, Max Fried, and Sonny Gray. Blake, I know you're a big computer guy, which the Shredder takes into account with its rankings. So what did you think of the list it put together?
I thought it was pretty good, a little surprising. Of course, I wasn't expecting any Dodger to be on there because last year, as we know, their starting pitcher was not good. Their aces were either injured or inconsistent. So that's not surprising. And then the list, I thought maybe Blake Snell was a little too high on there. I know they calculate the last 3 years with how they do their rankings. So for him to be number 5 on that list, a little surprising to me. I thought it was interesting the Shredder had Spencer Strider, number 7, and as we'll get into later, 2 other analysts had him as their number 1 pitcher. And I think a lot of people who've watched our show before know I have my hot takes about Spencer Strider. So that's what came to mind for me. I mean, Garrett Cole should be the number 1 pitcher. He is the best pitcher in baseball at this point. So that didn't really shock me. I was a little surprised Sonny Gray snuck onto the list. He was another guy who, like Blake Snell last year, it was kind of an outlier as opposed to the last 3 years. So that's what caught my eye.
Scott, what do you think of the Shredders rankings? Are you surprised that Blake Snell was ranked so high?
A little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, because you look around at everybody else's ranking list and he's not near the top there. It's just feels more that the Shredder had a little bit of a hiccup there, a little bit of computer glitch. Sorry about that, Blake. But if you look around the rest of the list, I mean, you just don't see that. Garrett Cole, I'm with Blake there. He should be the, consensus number 1. He, as by all accounts, the best pitcher in baseball for me. Corbin Burns, second. Just they go based off that 3-year window. And for me, the rest of the list, it just feels like Spencer Strider's a little bit low, considering what he's done in the regular season. It feels like, that's where their flaws are at. Like,
are we going to need to give you and Blake a segment to kind of duke it out on Spencer Strider?
No, I agree a lot with what Blake says about Spencer Strider, but like it's hard to argue with what he's done. I do think there's some parts of his game that are propped up a little bit too much. We won't, we don't need to throw unnecessary shade unless Blake green lights me to do that. But he certainly has been, he's been stellar in the regular season. When he's been pitching, he's been phenomenal. But he definitely is a guy that, when times are bad, and we've seen times go pretty bad in October.
Obviously, the Shredders rankings of the top 10 starting pitchers right now, the key words are right now in some sense. Yeah. As much as Blake, as you alluded to, it is sort of over a 3-year sample. It does, I think, try to factor in and sort of forecast expected production in the upcoming season, which obviously in this case it's 2024. So that would explain Shohei Otani not appearing on the list. He's obviously not going to be pitching this season, unfortunately, while he still recovers from his mysterious right elbow surgery. That is some sort of new procedure. That's how it's kind of been painted by the people involved with it. But Blake, if Otani was to make this list, if he was healthy to pitch this season, where would you put him on it?
I'd want to say like in the 5 to 7 range. The year before last year, 2021 now, I think, he was elite as a starting pitcher. And then in 2022, or I'm off on the years again. 2022, he was elite as a starting pitcher. 2023, he regressed a bit because of his walk issues. He was walking a lot more guys than he normally does. So I think that would have dropped him on the list a bit. And still an elite pitcher, but yeah, just a little ways down because of those walk issues unless he figures it out.
Scott, where would Otani rank for you?
Co-sign Blake. Me and Blake are kind of aligned on that sense. Otani's warts have been in the walk thing. Like he's a lot of what, similar stuff to Blake Snell. There will be traffic, self-induced traffic, and he's able to pitch out of that just because his stuff is so good. And when he finds the zone, just let it eat, put it in the zone, let the stuff work for itself, and that's where a lot of his successes come. But that's also what has made him exit games early or has forced him into trouble. And those issues have happened as of late. It hasn't been a problem his entire career. It's just this past season. It was really, really, a widespread issue for Otani, which kind of hindered a lot of his outings and might have been because of injury. And he's just that good. He just pitched through a lot of it. But I would have Otani probably around, can you rank him right now, even though he's hurt? I mean, if you want me to say what he's done in this 3-year window, I'd put him top 5. Like for me, he kind of has to be.
Yeah, you guys both bring up fair points. I think it'll be interesting to see, assuming obviously Otani's recovery goes well and sort of as expected, and he is able to pitch in 2025, where he sort of appears on the shredder rankings at that point. So while the Dodgers did not have anybody make the shredder list, as we just sort of discussed and recap, the panel of 3 analysts did rank Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow. Vince Gennaro had Yamamoto at number 4 and Glasnow 7th on his list. Mike Petriello ranked Glasnow 7th, and Sarah Langs had him 9th. Scott, let's focus on Yamamoto since he made all 3 of.
They had Yamamoto, not Glasnow, ranked.
That's right. Good correction, Blake. Thank you for that. My apologies. Scott, but let's focus on Yamamoto since he is coming over to MLB. What do you think about where he checked in on the different lists?
So it's fine. Like where he's at, without like the elephant in the room with Yamamoto is that he hasn't thrown a pitch against MLB competition, but it's adequate. Like for what he's done in MPB, 3 straight MVPs, 3 straight, essentially their Cy Young award over there. It's a phenomenal run. It's never been done before. So it's based on pure projection. But as everyone has said, you can gather a lot from the numbers that they're pulling. And that's why the Dodgers shelled out all that money. So I think it's a fair ranking for Yamamoto. I think Blake will tend to agree with that. But for what Yamamoto's been able to do in his 3 years, his past 3 years there for what the shredder did, I don't know if they even would factor that in. But Petriello, Langs, and Gennaro, like fine rankings for him. And I know that, coming in number 4, that's high praise, man.
Yeah. It's interesting to see kind of the different opinions on him because I know as Yamamoto was posted before he signed, like there were a lot of different takes from or reports from scouts and GMs and all that kind of projecting. Some view him as a future ace, which I know probably the 3 of us are sort of in line with, but others sort of express some doubt because of his stature. But Blake, my question for you is going to center on Glasnow. I know it's somebody you're really high on. Just thoughts on his placing on these lists.
Yeah, so he was only ranked by Vince Gennaro, so that shocked me a bit there. I mean, if we're just going off last year and projections, he should have been on every single list here. When he's healthy, he is undoubtedly a top 10 pitcher in the game, and you could probably even make a case for him at number 5. And I know the shredder probably dropped him off due to the injury history and not throwing as many innings, and that's where the last 3 years kind of come in. But when you're weighing the current and the future as much as you are with these lists, like Glasnow has no argument to not be on this list. There's multiple pitchers on this list you would take him over. Like, I don't think anyone's going to take Pablo Lopez over Tyler Glasnow on an innings per innings basis, or Framber Valdez, who Sarah Langs ranked as number 2. Like, no one's taking him over Tyler Glasnow on an innings per innings, game per game basis. So if you're just looking at that stuff, he has to be on the list.
Yeah, and I think, to your point about the injuries, Glasnow sort of he's openly discussed kind of his long injury past, which I get. Well, maybe I shouldn't say long because I think it is a little bit over exaggerated once you sort of started digging in. I know that's something we have done a little bit more since he was traded to the Dodgers. And I think what's encouraging to him, and I would suggest if you guys haven't watched it yet, we do have his introductory sort of press conference, if you will. It was a media Zoom call that he did after the trade. But Glasnow said, he's feeling healthy. He's encouraged by kind of the procedure that he did with his elbow. And so, he's optimistic that health won't really be an issue anymore. So let's close with this. Excluding Otani, Yamamoto, and Glasnow, Blake, I'll go to you first. Which Dodgers pitcher do you see being ranked by the shredder which one would you pick is most likely to make the shredder rankings heading into 2025? I'm not saying that it will happen, but if you needed to bet on somebody, who would it be?
We're excluding the top three.
Excluding the
Yeah,
three?
because those three are obvious. It's too easy. So if you needed to pick kind of a surprise, because every now and then, sometimes you'll see a young pitcher sort of crack the list, even if it is at number 10 or number 9. So kind of thinking along those lines, who would you choose?
I know.
Well, the obvious answer is Bobby Miller then, but I feel like Scott's going to throw the curveball and say Emmett Sheehan, so I'm just going to ruin that for him here.
I was gonna say Sasaki and just add it on, but that's to another another video. We'll get that to when it happens. But yeah, I kind of tab with Bobby Miller, man. I'm right there with you. I mean, Emmett Sheehan, we're big fans of the show. We're big fans of Emmett Sheehan here. So I'll piggyback on that and say Bobby Miller, that he's in a very low pressure spot now, and it's incredible for him. By all accounts, he's going to take a step forward. I don't know what we can expect out of Buehler, but we're on the Bobby Miller train once again, because now he has a huge load off his shoulders. He doesn't have to have that pressure of, going out there every 5th day and possibly every 6th day, now that they have a possibility of going to a 6-man rotation.
Yeah, maybe I needed to exclude Bobby Miller from that as well. Go ahead, Blake.
The real question is which Dodgers starting pitcher is going to be the highest on the list next year.
Ooh,
okay, well,
go
ahead. Go ahead. Answer that question then.
I'm going to go with Tyler Glasnow because he's my Cy Young Award-winning prediction, so I think he'll be rated pretty highly by the Shredder after that.
Okay, Scott?
Blake and I have been the guys on, Tyler Glasnow from DB all, this whole offseason. But I'll say Yamamoto. I'll say he translates incredibly well to big league hitting. And he goes out with the same plan, and he does a lot of what Senga did, and I think that he's going to translate right over. He'll front end the rotation, and he'll wear this well. And I'm super excited for what Yamamoto is going to bring. He's got an incredible arsenal, and yeah, I'm going to go Yamamoto. Just go against what Blake did.
All right, good choices. Hard to argue with either.
What about
one
you,
of
Matt? What about you?
So, the first question, which the Dodger pitcher that not from the big three, if you will, that I thought I was going to do an even bigger curveball and throw Buehler out there just because I didn't want it. I wanted to differentiate a little bit. And I think it is possible, if he has a decent year to a good year, that people will couple that with kind of his past. Then in terms of who would be ranked the highest, I'll go Yamamoto as well. I think he's going to open up enough eyeballs. And as much as Tyler Glasnow's health issues are hopefully behind him, what if he does miss a couple weeks with an injury? Maybe it's, I don't know, pitches through some elbow soreness type thing. Maybe it impacts his results. But yeah, I thought I was going to get off the hook easy.
Yeah, to your Buehler, like you pull up on Fangraphs, like 3-year window from 2018 to 2021, Buehler had the 7th highest WAR for starters. So like it's incredibly possible. Like his strikeout rate dipped pretty low, which skews that quite a bit, but it's possible, man. He finds some form. He added a lot of weight, so let's see. He's butane might be back, man.
Yeah, we'll have to see how much the Shredder values the good old eye test in its calculations.
I don't know. Yeah,
we can't bring up the eye test and not get into the Spencer Strider stuff now.
No, we're not. No, Spencer Strider's going to be for another video. You guys, we'll do that one on the live show with everybody so we could get some interaction as it's happening.
That's my most Matt take about this. Like the whole list, Spencer Strider, like he's not passing the eye test as much as the other guys. So
I struck out 10. Let's go.
All right. Fair enough. Table it for another night, guys. But so that's going to do it for us. We want to hear from you also in the comments. 2 questions. 1, which Dodgers pitcher, excluding the big three, would you pick to make the list? And maybe I need to throw Bobby Miller's name on the exclusion list because he is an easy choice. And 2, between Yamamoto and Glasnow, who would you pick to rank higher in the Shredders rankings for the 2025 season? Let us know. And don't forget to please like this video and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.